All right, let's dive in. We're exploring something pretty fascinating today, the sacred geography from the Brahma Purana.
Yeah.
Specifically chapter 15, which focuses on all these incredible holy places called tirthas.
Oh, it's a really fascinating topic. Just thinking about this whole landscape of sites across India, each one having its own unique, significance and power.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get too lost in this incredible list, the excerpt kind of jumps right into the importance of inner purity.
Right.
It's not enough to just visit these places, right?
You're absolutely right. The Brahma Purana really emphasizes that outer pilgrimage, should be rooted in inner transformation.
Right.
In fact, it introduces this concept of Sharika Tirtha, which means the body itself is a sacred site.
Oh, wow. So it's like saying that the journey begins within.
Exactly.
That you cultivate virtues like self-control and compassion and create a pilgrimage within yourself.
Precisely. It's about recognizing the sacredness within before seeking it in external locations.
Yeah, I really like that. How would you interpret this idea?
Well, it makes me think about how easily we can get caught up in the busyness of life, constantly chasing external goals. And the Brahma Purana seems to be saying, hey, slow down, look inward, cultivate those inner qualities first.
I think that's a really insightful observation, especially, in today's world where we're just bombarded with distractions and external pressures.
Yeah.
The Brahma Purana is offering kind of a timeless antidote to all the chaos.
Yeah.
It's like finding that inner sanctuary amidst the storm.
Absolutely. It's this reminder that true transformation starts from within, but then it goes on and it dives into this incredible list of tirthas.
Yeah, the sheer number is mind-boggling.
I know, it really is.
It really speaks to the vastness of the sacred landscape,
Yeah.
that's envisioned in the Brahma Purana. And each location, from the Himalayas to the banks of sacred rivers, they all hold this deep mythological and spiritual significance.
For sure.
Right. We have Brahmakund, often associated with the creation myth itself.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's Pushkar, where it's believed that Lord Brahma performed a grand yagna. And, of course, Badranath, high up in the Himalayas, a sacred abode of the Lord Vishnu.
And these are just a few. Each name carries centuries of stories, beliefs, and practices.
Yeah, but instead of getting lost in the details of each location, maybe we can explore some of the themes that emerge from this list. For instance, many of these tirthas are situated near rivers or mountains.
Yes, that's a great observation. It points to this reverence for nature in Hindu tradition. The idea that sacredness is embedded in the natural world, rivers, mountains, forests, they're not just backdrops, they're active participants in the spiritual journey.
It makes me think about how disconnected we've become from nature in modern life.
Yeah.
And maybe these tirthas offer a way to reconnect with that inherent sacredness.
I think so. And it's not just about individual connection either. A lot of these tirthas highlight the importance of community.
Oh, yeah.
Coming together for rituals and celebrations.
Right, like the Kumbh Mela at Prayaga, which draws millions of people from all walks of life. It's not just a religious gathering, it's a cultural phenomenon. It's a testament to the enduring power of these sacred sites.
It seems like the significance of these tirthas extends far beyond their geographical locations or even mythological stories. They offer a way to connect with ourselves, with nature, and with each other.
Okay, so we've kind of started to uncover this idea that pilgrimage is not just about visiting specific places. It's about cultivating a certain mindset,
Right.
connecting with something larger than ourselves, and even fostering a sense of community.
Right.
But the excerpt also promises some pretty incredible rewards for those who undertake this journey, right?
It does. It specifically mentions the merit of an Ashvamedha yagna,
Wow.
which is a very complex and significant Vedic ritual as the reward for sincere pilgrimage.
Okay, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it definitely raises some questions. It's interesting that the text links the rewards of pilgrimage to this very elaborate royal ritual. What do you think it's trying to convey?
I think it's important to remember that we're not meant to take this literally. It's not about replicating the exact ritual, but rather understanding the principles behind it.
Okay.
What stands out to you about the Ashvamedha Yagna?
Well, it was a grand demonstration of a king's power,
Mm-hmm.
a way to seek blessings for the entire kingdom. It involved immense dedication, meticulous planning, and a really deep reverence for the divine.
Exactly. So perhaps the Brahma Purana is suggesting that approaching pilgrimage with that same level of devotion, commitment, and attention to detail can yield profound spiritual fruits.
That makes sense. It's not just about checking off a list of places. It's about the intention, the effort, the inner transformation that unfolds along the way. Precisely. And that brings us back to the concept of Sharika Tirtha. The journey begins within, and it's through cultivating those inner qualities that we can fully experience the transformative power of pilgrimage, both internal and external.
That's really interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So we've talked about the importance of inner transformation, the symbolism of these tirthas, and even their relevance in a modern context. But there's one piece of the puzzle we haven't fully explored yet. The rewards promised to those who undertake pilgrimages with devotion and proper rituals.
Yeah.
The excerpt specifically mentions attaining the merit of an Ashvamedha yagna. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, it's certainly intriguing. It's interesting that the Brahma Purana links the rewards of pilgrimage to this very specific and elaborate ritual. What do you think it's trying to convey?
Honestly, it seems a little out there at first glance.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about literally replicating a royal ritual from ancient times.
Right.
It feels more symbolic to me.
I think you're on the right track. It's about understanding the underlying principles, the essence of the Ashvamedha Yagna. Remember, it was a powerful statement of a king's authority.
Right.
It was a way to seek blessings for the entire kingdom. It involved immense dedication, meticulous planning, and a really deep reverence for the divine.
So are we talking about approaching pilgrimage with that same level of commitment and intention?
Exactly. It's not just about visiting these places. It's about the inner transformation that unfolds along the way. The dedication, the self-discipline, the surrender to something larger than ourselves. Those are the qualities that the Brahma Purana seems to be emphasizing.
And that brings us back to the concept of Sharika Tirtha, the idea that our body is a sacred site. The journey starts within.
Precisely. It's about cultivating those inner qualities that allow us to fully experience the transformative power of pilgrimage. The Brahma Purana also highlights rituals like fasting, offering oblations, and honoring deities as part of the pilgrimage. What do you make of those?
Well, they might seem outdated to some people today, but maybe they're not about the literal act itself.
Right.
Perhaps they're about cultivating a certain mindset, a sense of humility, a willingness to step outside our comfort zones.
I think that's a really insightful perspective. These rituals, in a sense, provide a framework for the pilgrimage.
Okay.
A way to structure the experience and deepen the connection to the sacred. They're about aligning our inner world with the outer world, creating a sense of harmony and purpose.
So in a way, the Brahma Purana is offering a roadmap for a meaningful life.
Yes.
It's not just about visiting specific places. It's about cultivating certain qualities, engaging in practices that connect us to something larger than ourselves.
Right.
And ultimately finding that sense of inner peace and fulfillment.
And that's a message that transcends time and culture, really.
Right. It's something we can all relate to, regardless of our background or beliefs.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, what can we take away from all of this? I think the Brahma Purana encourages us to reflect on our own concept of sacred space. Where do we find solace, inspiration, and a sense of connection?
Good question.
It might be a place in nature, a quiet corner in our home, or even a state of mind.
And maybe it also inspires us to approach our own journeys, whether they're physical, emotional, or spiritual, with the same sense of dedication and reverence that the Brahma Purana describes.
Absolutely. It's been an incredible deep dive into the Brahma Purana's sacred geography. We hope it sparked some curiosity and inspired you to explore these ideas further.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Yeah, sounds great.
Right.
That was really fun. Thanks for joining us today.
It was my pleasure. Always happy to talk about these things.
So we've touched upon this idea of pilgrimage as a multi-layered experience. The outer journey to these incredible places, the inner transformation it sparks, and even the community aspects.
Right.
But the Brahma Purana doesn't just list these tirthas, right?
Yeah.
It describes them in such evocative ways.
It absolutely does, and each description kind of adds another layer of meaning. Take the name Pushkara, for example. It's not just a place. It's also the Sanskrit word for a blue lotus, which is a really powerful symbol in Hindu tradition.
Oh, right. The blue lotus representing purity and spiritual awakening.
Exactly.
It's like the name itself points to the transformative potential of the place.
It reminds us that these tirthas aren't just points on a map.
Right.
They're points of convergence between the physical and the spiritual.
You know, it makes me think about how every place has a story,
Yeah.
like a history, an energy that goes beyond what we see on the surface. And maybe that's especially true for these tirthas.
I agree. They're like vessels carrying centuries of beliefs, practices, and experiences. Think about Naimisharanya, for instance.
Okay.
It's traditionally believed to be a forested region where sages gather to share their wisdom.
Oh, wow. A place steeped in ancient knowledge and spiritual energy. You can almost feel the weight of history there.
And then you have Prayaga, which is better known today as Allahabad,
Mm-hmm.
the site of the Kumbh Mela.
The Kumbh Mela. It's amazing to think that millions of people gather at the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati rivers.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the enduring power of these tirthas, how they can draw people from all walks of life and just unite them in a shared experience. Have you ever witnessed anything like that?
I haven't personally, but I've seen images and videos.
I bet.
The sheer scale is awe-inspiring. It's not just a religious event, it's a cultural phenomenon, a celebration of faith and community.
And it also highlights the importance of rivers in the Brahma Purana's worldview.
Yeah.
They're not just sources of water, right?
Okay.
They're conduits of divine energy, pathways to purification and spiritual awakening.
Which makes me think about how we treat our rivers today.
Hmm.
Are we honoring their sacredness?
Yeah,
Are we protecting them?
that's a crucial question.
Yeah.
The Brahma Purana reminds us that our relationship with the natural world is intrinsically linked to our spiritual well-being.
It's like a call to action,
Yep.
a reminder to protect these sacred spaces, not just for their spiritual significance, but also for their ecological importance.
Absolutely. And then there's Badranath,
Yeah.
nestled high in the Himalayas. Mountains have a special place in many spiritual traditions, often seen as places where heaven and earth meet.
It's interesting that Badrinath is only accessible for a few months of the year
Oh, really?
because of the harsh weather conditions. It's almost like a hidden sanctuary, a place that requires a certain level of dedication and perseverance to reach.
And that difficulty, that challenge, might be part of the spiritual journey itself.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the path to enlightenment isn't always easy, that it requires effort and resilience.
It makes me think about the parallels between physical journeys and spiritual journeys. They both have their challenges.
Yeah.
There are moments of doubt.
Sure.
There are moments of transcendence.
And they both require a certain level of surrender,
Yeah.
letting go of control and trusting the process.
So we've touched upon a few specific tirthas. Pushkara, with its symbolism, Naimisharanya's ancient wisdom, Prayaga's confluence of rivers, and Badranath's mountainous sanctuary. Each one offering a unique perspective on this vast and multifaceted landscape of the Brahma Purana's sacred geography. But what do these places mean for us today? In a world that's increasingly secular and technology-driven, do they still hold the same power and relevance?
That's a great question, and I think it gets to the heart of why we're exploring this text.
Right.
While the religious significance of these tirthas remains for many, their relevance has also expanded beyond purely religious interpretations.
Okay.
For instance, many of these sites are now recognized for their cultural and historical importance, They house ancient temples,
Okay.
sculptures, and scriptures.
So they're not just sacred spaces, they're repositories of India's rich artistic and cultural heritage.
Exactly. They're living museums, in a sense.
Yeah.
Offering glimpses into the past and preserving traditions that might otherwise be lost.
And they also serve as important social spaces, right?
Absolutely.
People gather for festivals, pilgrimages, and rituals.
For sure.
It fosters a sense of community.
Exactly. These tirthas are not just isolated points on a map. They're vibrant hubs of social interaction where people from all walks of life come together.
It seems to me that these tirthas offer a way to reconnect with something deeper,
Yeah.
something beyond the everyday hustle and bustle.
I think you're right. They offer a space for contemplation, for reflection, for reconnecting with nature,
Yeah.
with history, with our own inner selves.
And even if we can't physically visit these places, the Brahma Purana's descriptions can spark a sense of wonder and inspire us to seek out those sacred spaces,
Right.
those points of connection within our own lives.
I agree. Whether it's a walk in nature, a moment of quiet reflection, or shared experience with loved ones, the key is to cultivate that sense of reverence,
Yeah.
that awareness of something larger than ourselves.
So we've explored the outer landscape of tirthas, touched upon their historical and cultural significance, and even considered their relevance in a modern context.
Right.
But the Brahma Purana also emphasizes the inner journey, the cultivation of virtues, the transformation that unfolds within. Perhaps that's the most enduring message of this text,
Nagso.
the idea that the true pilgrimage begins and ends within ourselves.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it brings us back to that concept of Sharika Tirtha, the body itself as a sacred site. Perhaps the most important journey we can undertake is the one that leads us back to ourselves, to that inner sanctuary where true peace and fulfillment reside.
And maybe that's the ultimate reward of any pilgrimage, whether it's to a distant Tirtha or to the depths of our own hearts.
Absolutely. It's about awakening to the sacredness that exists within and all around us and allowing that awareness to guide our lives.
So we've been on quite a journey, exploring this sacred landscape of the Brahma Purana.
It has been, yeah.
We've talked about, the importance of inner transformation.
Right.
The symbolism of all these Tirthas, their historical significance, and even their relevance for us today.
It's amazing how these ancient texts, can still speak to us,
I know, it's really interesting.
offering insights into our own lives and journeys.
Exactly. But there's one piece we haven't fully explored yet.
Okay.
The rewards that are promised to those who undertake pilgrimages with the devotion and proper rituals.
Right.
The excerpt specifically mentions attaining the merit of an Ashvamedha yagna,
Yeah.
which was a pretty intense Vedic ritual.
It was, yes.
What are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, it's certainly a powerful image, right? This connection between pilgrimage and this grand, elaborate ritual. What do you think it's trying to say?
Honestly, it seems a little out there at first glance.
I can understand that.
We're not talking about literally replicating a royal ritual from ancient times, are we?
I don't think so, no.
It feels more symbolic.
I think you're right. It's not about the literal act itself. It's about understanding those underlying principles, the essence of the Ashvamedha yagna. Remember, it was a powerful statement of a king's authority, a way to seek blessings for the whole kingdom. It involved immense dedication, meticulous planning, and a deep reverence for the divine.
So are we talking about approaching pilgrimage with that same level of commitment and intention?
Exactly. It's not just about visiting these places. It's about the inner transformation that unfolds along the way.
Right.
The dedication, the self-discipline, the surrender to something larger than ourselves. Those are the qualities that the Brahma Purana seems to be emphasizing.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about checking off a list,
Right.
It's about what happens within us during that journey.
And that brings us back to that idea of Sharika Tirtha, the body itself as a sacred site. The journey starts within.
And it's interesting how the Brahma Purana also highlights all those rituals like fasting,
Right.
offering oblations, and honoring the deities.
Yeah. What do you make of all that?
Well, they might seem outdated to some people today,
Yeah, I could see that.
but maybe they're not about the literal acts themselves. Perhaps they're about cultivating a certain mindset,
Okay.
a sense of humility, a willingness to step outside our comfort zones.
I think that's a really insightful perspective. These rituals provide a framework for the pilgrimage,
Yeah.
a way to structure the experience, deepen the connection to the sacred. They're about aligning our inner world with the outer world, creating a sense of harmony and purpose.
It almost sounds like the Brahma Purana is offering us a roadmap for a more meaningful life.
In a way, yes.
It's not just about visiting specific places. It's about cultivating those qualities within ourselves,
Right.
engaging in practices that connect us to something bigger, and ultimately finding that inner peace and fulfillment.
And that message, that resonates across time and cultures.
It really does.
It's something we can all connect with.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Brahma Purana's sacred geography, what are some of your final thoughts?
Well, I think the Brahma Purana offers a really beautiful perspective on the power of pilgrimage, both internal and external. It reminds us that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Right.
That true fulfillment often lies in that ongoing pursuit of spiritual growth and connection.
It's been an incredible journey exploring all of this, the outer landscape, the inner journey of transformation,
Yeah.
the profound rewards promised to those who embark on this path.
It's really quite a vision.
It is, yeah. So for all of our listeners out there, as we conclude this exploration, what can we take away from all of this? What can we apply to our own lives? I think the Brahma Purana encourages us to reflect on our own concept of sacred space.
I agree.
Where do we find solace, inspiration, a sense of connection? It might be a place in nature, a quiet corner in our home, or even a state of mind.
And maybe it also inspires us to approach our own journeys, whether they're physical or emotional or spiritual, with that same sense of dedication and reverence that the Brahma Purana describes.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive
It's been a pleasure.
into the Brahma Purana's sacred geography. We hope it sparked some curiosity, inspired you to maybe explore these ideas a little bit further on your own.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
Yeah, and thank you for guiding us through this fascinating topic. It was really fun talking with you today.
It was my pleasure. Always happy to dive into these conversations.